What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Chris Arreola, Anthony Joshua. Get this. Chris Arreola claims a fight with Anthony Joshua is in the works and tells him, don't be a bitch, following collapse in negotiations with Tyson Fury. Fans were hoping to see Fury versus Tyson Fury, Fury versus Anthony Joshua, but instead it seems he could be taking on Chris Arreola. Joshua had been in negotiations, of course, to fight Fury December 3rd, but as it too often in the case of boxing, the fight never came to fruition. And of course, despite this, Joshua has still said that he wants to get out before the end of the year. And according to Arreola himself, he is a potential opponent. And this is what Chris Arreola said. He said that Joshua's fight is one of the things that's been in the works. I'll take that fight. I love it. Joshua, don't be a bitch. Let's make this motherfucker happen, bro. I'm a fighter. I love fighting. So let's effing fight. Let's make it happen here, there, wherever you want to make it. From a fan's perspective, of course, this would be a huge step down for Anthony Joshua. And I don't blame him. I don't blame fans for thinking that way. And me counterpunching Chris Arreola stating that it's in the works, I haven't heard anything about it. Not saying it's not happening. I just haven't heard. It's been rumored. Now, Chris Arreola said, you know, people have been in contact with him. I don't know who. He didn't say Eddie Hearn or anybody else. Maybe it's 258 management. But Chris Arreola for a potential opponent, that's like having Andy Ruiz leftovers, honestly. I mean, and you're looking at now someone, Chris Arreola, I believe, is what, 41? 42? You know, I don't know how old he is now. Yeah, he's 41. So, you know, then Joshua fighting Chris Arreola, I don't think that that's worthy of him, because I think at this point of his career, not only is that Andy Ruiz's leftovers, that's Bermane Steverns, that's Deontay Wilder's, that's a lot of, he would be definitely a step down, because it was a step down for Andy Ruiz to do it. So imagine the guy that beat Andy Ruiz on the second go-round, what it would be like for him to take on Chris Arreola. I wouldn't take on Chris Arreola, but, you know, if they were just looking for a win, to me, that's no different than Deontay Wilder taking on Robert Helenius. So, I mean, you could be in defense of Joshua by saying that, but I don't think Joshua needs defense of anybody because he's accustomed to fighting the best. So I don't think you would have to go on, at bat for him taking on somebody like Chris Arreola. I think he should always take on someone that's worthy of fighting. You know, we don't need a Canelo Yildirim here because that's just a waste of time. I think as long as you're fighting, he wasn't brutally knocked out. He doesn't need a handicapped fight. He doesn't need a fight with somebody, you know, and not to say Chris Arreola wouldn't challenge him, because I think certain fighters rise to the occasion. But I think it wouldn't be worth him fighting Chris Arreola, honestly. You know, Chris Arreola would give him a good fight, but then it's like, okay, you fought, now you're fighting people that was under the level that you're accustomed to fighting people. That's no Kubrat Pulev. That's no Alexander Povetkin. You know, that's none of those type of fighters like that. You know, Chris Arreola would be good for someone like Dillian White, but only Dillian White before he got knocked out. You know, maybe Dillian White now, but for Anthony Joshua, no. You know, Otto Wallin, one loss, sure. That's the Tyson Fury, the current WBC heavyweight champion of the world right now. And he went and gave Fury a go. You know, busted his eye open and, you know, and had a lot of people, you know, scratching their head at that fight. So, yeah, I could go for that. Zhilei Zhang, you know, Chinese guy. I mean, why not? Whatever. You know, still one loss, and that was a controversial loss. You know, still pushing 40, though. So that's something that, you know, keep in mind. That's not the ideal for me. But Otto Wallin, definitely somebody in their 30s or around the same age as him that knows him pretty well. He sparred with him. You know, guys like that. Hrgovic, sure, another guy that's, I think Hrgovic is in his late 20s, with still undefeated. So I think that would be probably a good fight to happen. It's in other words, people, it's a lot of other fights that could happen besides Chris Arreola. Now, for Chris himself, personally, I think it would be great for him. You know what I mean? Because, one Mexican did it. Why couldn't he? He was the guy that dropped the Mexican that dropped him 4 times. So for Chris Arreola, it would be great for him because that would be the defining moment of his life or his career. Make a couple million and, make a nice little retirement package and chunk up the 2 deuces and get on out of Dodge. So, no, I'm not mad at him at all. But, for Anthony Joshua, yeah, it'd be a letdown. A lot of people, have seen Joshua rise to a certain occasion, take a nosedive, come back from that nosedive, still stay on the level, okay? And he's been there ever since. So if they see him take a nosedive after a loss like that, they're going to wonder where he is mentally, physically, and everything else. They're going to wonder if he has the desire anymore if he's fighting guys like Chris Arreola. Is he just doing it to fulfill that DAZN contract for 100 million pounds a year? So a lot of people are going to speculate and they're going to ask questions about that. Okay. But, naturally they should, but anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Chris Arreola claiming that a fight between him and Anthony Joshua are in the works. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.